So in this tutorial I would like to show you how I am making bolts or threads. Basically that's what it comes down to. That's the difficult part. So as always, I'll just begin by making a platform like so, making a square and pull it down, triple click and press G, create a component. So now I have something that I can build on. That's how I like to do it. Make this little color, or in this case I had the concrete open, so make it concrete just because of the white is so bright. If you are curious about shortcuts that I'm using and all that stuff, I made a video about that that you can check out. I have a link of that video in the description. Okay, so now the bolts. How I do it is with the plugin over here, Helix on Curve, but you can also do it without the plugin. So I will start with that one. So let's say you want to make a M12 bolt. I'm from Europe, so we have the metric threads over here. So you're gonna make a circle of with a radius of 6 millimeters. So press in 6. Now you can make it very detailed. For instance, by default a circle has 24 segments, but you can make it very detailed by changing the amount of segments in the entity info window over here, or you can change the default setting basically when you are that determines the amount of segments that determines the amount of segments the circle has that you are drawing from that point on. So for example, let's say I'm pressing the C button to activate the circle tool, and now I can type in 60S and then push enter, and now every circle that I will draw will have 60 segments. So it's a pretty nice circle, as you can see. If I draw a very big circle like this, it's very nice. But since this is a bolt and it doesn't need to be so accurate, I'm going to change this to a convenient number, like 18 segments. The reason for that is a full circle is 360 degrees, and if you divide that by 18, then you get a nice even 20. That makes it just easier to work with. So I'm gonna change this to 18, and now I'm gonna look in if you care about details, and I do. So if you don't really, then you can skip this part, but I like to do it because the proportions need to be right, you know. So I looked it up, and I will show you a picture of a little book I have that contains that type. The thread will go up or go down 1.75 millimeters in one turn. I don't know how you call that in English. I will look it up and put that in. So I'm gonna push this up, that 1.75 millimeters. Now what you have to do, you want to make this like a something like this, you know, so that you have a nice spiral around. But obviously this is not gonna do it, so what I'm gonna do is I make a line also of 1.75 millimeters. I'm gonna right click on that line, and then I'm gonna say divide, and I'm gonna type in 18. So I'm gonna divide this line in 18 segments. That because the circle contains out of 18 segments. So each segment I have to go 1.75 millimeters divided by 18. That's the amount I have to go up every segment, and that's what I have here. So one of these guys I'm gonna move by selecting him and go to the bottom of it, and I'm gonna press Ctrl to copy move it, and I'm gonna put it on top of here, like over there. Then I'm gonna make a line from this point to over there, and then I'm gonna select that line that I made, and I'm gonna move this with the Control button again to copy it, and I'm gonna move it over there. So that's my first one. Then I'm gonna move that one by picking it up by the original point, pressing the Control button, move it over there. Now you can press the Q button to activate the rotate tool, and press shift to keep it on the blue axis. Go to the original point and pick it up on the end point, and you can snap it on like over there, and click on the mouse, or you can watch in the right bottom corner, it rotates 20 degrees, so you can just type that in. So now I'm gonna hit the Control button and select the original line with the second line, and I'm gonna move these both lines and do the same with these two lines. So press Q, hold it on with shift. You can also just rotate from the bottom over here. Let a snap on there. Now I have 4. Now I can select the two original lines, and now I can make 4. Put it on there. Rotate. And now it's going fast. Oh, I don't want to select that one. You can deselect by holding shift. I'm not sure, no, I'm not round yet. But you can see only 2 remaining, so I'm gonna pick up the last 2. Move. There we go. Now we can just delete everything we don't need. Oh, that's too much. So there we have it. And now you can triple click this and move this up. Press the Control button to copy this. And now you can type in whatever, 10x, and then you will have a nice, with the right amount of travel by turn, I will call it for now. So now I'm gonna make another circle with a radius of 6. But remember, I had this set to 60 segments and I made this helix with 18 segments. So I'm gonna make a circle with 18 segments with a radius of 6. Pull this up, triple click this and move it, but with the control to leave a copy there just in case. And now you can have this problem that it's not aligning. So in that case, what I would do is make this a component, pressing G and Enter, and now move this with the control, and now I'm gonna rotate this so that it lines up with the circle that I just pulled. Now I'm gonna explode this, and now I'm gonna move this up again with control to copy it, and it helps. Well, actually, yeah, let's say it helps if you put on the hidden geometry, which I have now on, that you can do over here in view and then hidden geometry. So what I'm gonna do is gonna move this up and let it snap to the middle of this hidden geometry line over there. So now we want to know how thick the base diameter is, and also that you can find in you can just Google that. I'm sure I had this book laying around, so I just looked in there. So in this case with an M12 bolt, that is 9.85 millimeters divided by 2 to have the radius, let's say 4.93. So I'm gonna make a circle with a radius of 4.93 millimeters. Now I made sure that I still have this helix that I copied, that it's still selected, so don't touch everything basically. Now I'm gonna activate the scale tool by pressing S. I'm gonna grab it over here by the middle, and I'm gonna hold the control button, and then I'm gonna click, and I'm gonna make it snap to right over there in the middle of that circle that I just made. And I'm gonna click and release the mouse and the control button. Do the same on the other side. And there we go. That's a realistic M12 thread. So I'm gonna put out the hidden geometry. What I like to do when I make this stuff is with this. I'm gonna make a rectangle just on my base plate. That's why I like to have a base plate. And I'm gonna select that face, and I'm just gonna pick a random point on there, and I'm gonna put that somewhere over here, but remember where you put it. So I put it over here on this point, and then I'm gonna move it again with the control to copy it, and then I'm gonna just go right up on the blue axis and make it snap on the same point but then higher. Click over here. So now I'm gonna select this face and this face, and I'm gonna right click and say intersect faces with model. This means that the two faces that I just have selected right now, they will cut through everything. Basically, that's how I see it. Whatever it is in your model. But if I say with selection, then I would have then you would have to select this also. So then you would have to select everything and then do that. But I like to do it this way, but it's something to keep in mind. So now it will give you some weird, I don't know why it does this, it's pretty annoying sometimes, but you can pretty easily fill that up. So I'm gonna delete these faces and triple click the lines that contain them and delete them. So now I want to save this middle part that I got out, basically. So I'm gonna delete all the excess stuff over here. Basically, I delete everything that makes what I want to delete in contact with what I don't want to delete. That I delete, like so. This all is in contact with what I want to keep. So that I will delete. This line over here, this one, and this one is the last one. And the rest you can just triple click and delete, and it's all gone. The same on this. Triple click, triple click. There we go. Now this can go too. And now we have to fill up these annoying blank faces. So what you and a handy tip is that you can just do it like this. Just trace the line, or this one, and it will fill that face up. But if you do it in between two faces that you want to fill, it will fill two at the same time, if you know what I mean. So for instance over here, just only this line will make two faces like there. So I'm just gonna finish this up and I will come back when that's done. So that's done. And now it's another annoying thing. Let's say we want to smooth those things out over here, this line over here. If I do that, I triple click on the line. So this one did disappear, but a lot of times and you will see that that's not gonna be the case right now. So let's select everything. Well, we do have one example over here. This one didn't disappear, and the reason for that is, well, I don't know really why that is, but let's say if I select all this and say smooth, it doesn't smooth it out. Now that's because there's a double face in there somehow. So let's say I'm selecting this little face over here and I delete. You can see there's nothing deleted. Also this face, I delete it, but it's still there. If I select it again and now delete, now it's gone. So if that's the case, then you can smooth it out. So that's, yeah, that sometimes things like that occur. So that's how you can fix that. So I'm gonna delete this face and this face. Now I'm gonna make this a... Oh, we have another one over here. See? I can't even try to smooth it out, so I'm gonna delete some faces. So that one was good because it disappeared. So now I can't smooth them out. So now you can select everything by triple clicking, press G, enter, make this a component, and you can pick it up, press Control, and you can make this as long as you want. Type in 10 times, and there you go. So then you can make it as long as you want. So I would say just keep an original component like this, and work like you want it with the rest of them. So let's give this a color. I'm gonna give it like it's a little galvanized, so it's a little bluish, something like this. Alright, so I'm working with V-Ray, so what I'm gonna do is go to the material options, right click, create layer, reflection. For the reflection I'm gonna give it an IOR of 11 and a refract IOR of 1.1. Highlight 0.8, reflect 0.8. Let's see. It's a little noisy, so make the subdivisions a little higher. Yeah, this is good enough. You know, it's not really the point. So now I'm gonna make another circle to make the head of the bolt. So I'm gonna activate the circle and I'm gonna type in 6S, and there you go. I almost have it already. So I'm gonna go to my do I have another one over here? That didn't want to go away. Oh yes, I did. So I'm gonna go to my sheet over here, and you can see the head has a height of 7.5 millimeters. So I'm gonna pull this up, 7.5, and this dimension should be 13. So that it's not. So I'm gonna make again a tape measure line, 13. I'm gonna triple click this and scale it down. And you can see that's 44. So now I'm gonna scale it like this, 0.44. And now this should be 13, or very close to it. But now it's not 7.5 millimeters. So do that again. 7.5. So there we go. This is what we're gonna make the bolt head out of. Let's unsmooth those edges. So usually a bolt has something like let's go back to 18s segments. It has like a how you call it, like a smooth edge around here. So that's how you can do that. I'm gonna go and go halfway. So these lines are welded, as they call it. So you can just select those. Let's right click and say explode curve. I'm not sure if that's something of a plugin, but I don't think so. So now I'm gonna measure to halfway, and I'm gonna just eyeball what I think is what it would drop. I think something like, yeah, something like this. So that's 1 millimeter. Yeah, that sounds right. Like so. I'm gonna go in 2 steps. One a little bit more, so it's kind of exponential, you know what I mean? And then let it snap to that point. So to do the same on the other side, go with like so. Now I'm gonna delete these lines. I'm gonna just fill this up. Go from this point to there and to there, and do the same over here. There we go. Remove all those lines. Smooth this out. Now I'm gonna copy rotate this segment by selecting it and activate the rotate tool. Pick a reference point, press the control button and copy it to the right position and say 5 times, and delete all the excess material. There we go. Looks like how it's supposed to look like. Even though I got it right, you know, I think, yeah, should be right. Looks a bit lie in my opinion, but what you do have, you can flip this around on the blue direction. Usually bolts have some type of a wing, like something like this. So now I did make it 0.8 higher, which I don't want. So 0.8 back. So this really should have the right dimensions. Make this a component. Flip it back around. So what you also can do, if you really are going to see the bolt very well, is go to Tools, 3D Text, and make some text on there. Usually they do have that, so something like A4 or something. Oh, that's a little big. But you know, it is all about the details, so it is nice. As you could see in the thumbnail, I reckon I made a nice thumbnail of this. What you can do is select all this and smooth that out a little bit. Paint it, move it down a little into the bolt. Yeah, looks about right. Paint this thing. Alright. I'm getting somewhere now. Move this. And put the midpoint on the threads. So now we have to make it center in this direction. But sometimes it's hard to, because I want to line up this midpoint to that midpoint over there. But now it snaps on it. But if I do it like so, which I want to do it like, is go on the right direction, which is green in this case, hold shift, and then let it snap to a middle of that line. But it doesn't want to do that. Sometimes it's so frustrating. I don't know why it does that, but how you can resolve that is make a line on it, on this, which you want to so make a line from the middle, and just make, it doesn't really matter, just make a line. And now select this object, pick the middle, hold shift for the sticking to the right direction, and then you can snap it to the end of that line. Sometimes you have to improvise. And I'm not sure what's the problem now. My bad. 13 is not for M12. It's more like 18. So what I can do is it's pretty much goes up to scale. So I do 18 divided by 13, then I get 1.38. so I can select my bolt head and scale this just up in total 1.38. and now I do have to make it center again. Sometimes also a handy tip if you don't know it, sometimes it's hard to put something where you want it, but if you press the K button you can see through all the faces. Like for this instance I want to put this on a thread, so press K and there we go. So put this on the middle over here. Now I want to get this on the middle. Maybe it will work now because it's the right size. No. Jeez. Okay, move, shift, snap it to the middle. Yeah, this looks more about right. So yeah, pretty much there we go. So hold one on the side. I would do is, and I did that, is just save one of these, make this a component for example, and save this, save as, and you can just save it somewhere in a folder, then you don't have to make it again. That will work with all kinds of stuff, of course. So yeah, I'm gonna just, this is enough. Oh. So yeah, that's it. Also you can just make a nut with something like this. I'm gonna just copy this, all this, the top part of this, Ctrl C, Control V. Oh, somehow it flipped around, so scale this up -1. And I'm gonna put this on there. Is this the middle? Yes, it is. Nice. Alright. Snap to the blue axis. Let's snap it on there. And copy this. -1. And then you can make a circle, but you can see it's not snapping on a middle because this is not really a yeah, it's not it doesn't act as a circle. So what you could do is make a reference line like so, but even then you can see it's not a perfect circle anymore. So what I would do is just trace these lines. It's a little bit of hand work, but it's doable. So, and that's pretty much yeah, that pretty much covers it, I would say. There we go. Obviously you have to put these together. So I hope you learned something from this. I do have to do the other side, but that's basically it. So I'm gonna just finish this. I'm just gonna trace a circle, and then it's done basically. Then I have a nut and a bolt. So you can do a lot of things like this to make other things. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it and learned something from it. So have fun trying and have a nice day. Cheers. So if you have the plugin Helix on long curve, which is just a free plugin, so I would say download it. You can make a line. I'm gonna make this 10, well, let's say 20 millimeters. I'm gonna select this, then activate the plugin, and you have to put in the radius and the second radius, or because this is just it keeps the same diameter from top to bottom, and the amount of laps, that's depending on the travel of the thread. In this case, one turn is 1.75 millimeters. So I have to calculate how much laps it would make in 20 millimeters, since that's the length of the line that I have selected. So I'm gonna have to divide 20 millimeters by 1.75, and that's 11.4, but you do have to put in whole numbers. So I'm just gonna put in 11 or 12. I'm gonna go with 12. And the sections per lap, that has to be the same as the circle that you are going to make, which also in my case consists out of 18 segments, as you know. So, and that's it, and then you're done with that part, and then you can proceed the same way as we are going to do now.